possibile, comunque giocatori importanti possono andare via, però noi dobbiamo continuare comunque a concentrarsi su noi stessi, poi a fine mercato comunque valuteremo chi sarà andato via o chi arriverà, però noi dobbiamo rimanere concentrati e cercare di fare questo tipo di prestazioni. Radio CRC.
Napoli fans around the world, welcome to Napoli Talk. That was Politano's conference that I was listening to, just getting my camera guys set up. So that was Politano. They asked him whether the rumors of Kvaratskhelia were at all something that were distracting the team. And he said that absolutely not. We know as professionals that these things can happen in the January transfer market. Guys, welcome to the stream. I had all these things in the background that I was listening to because the game just ended, and I really want to make sure that I don't miss Conte's words, but also the players. I'm extremely interested in finding out what it is that the players are saying after today's game because I'm sure questions will be asked about Kvaratskhelia, what they think about it, how they prepared the game, knowing about those things in the background. So, yeah, I want to just keep an ear out for those kind of things that happen. Guys, thank you for joining the live. I see a lot of you guys are on there. Napoli Nation TV, Jason Tiso, Anthony G, Napoli, Paul Laughlin, maybe is how you pronounce it. Laurentu, Helcom, Lex, welcome guys into the chat. Let's get to some of the questions. Did Kvara not play today because he was in Paris, or did Conte not want him to play? In these type of situations, guys, players are often excluded from the squad list just in case they get injured or they have a bad performance or whatever, and that affects the contract negotiations. You guys have to understand that at this moment in time, everybody wants the deal to go through. PSG wants the deal to go through. Kvara wants the deal to go through. And yes, De Laurentiis wants the deal to go through because at the end of the day, he's a businessman. He sees 70 million. That means that for him, 2025, from a business point of view, is a success. Champions League seems like it will come. For De Laurentiis, that's what he cares about, right? Whether you like that or not, that's ultimately what's on his mind. And so everybody that's involved wants this thing to come true. And so you got to preserve the player. Another Scudetto win, won every match without DPOY. Who's DP? Who's DPOY, guys? You have to explain that to me, Daniel. What a statement win! Exactly the reaction Napoli needed, says Jason. Exactly, and especially with the goal coming in the first 5 minutes. What an approach to the game! And the two senators, as the title says, the two senators, Anguissa and Di Lorenzo. I think the guys who I think need to start carrying this team and who maybe failed the team last year because, for example, Anguissa didn't score a goal last year, wasn't running the way that he ran 2 years ago or is running this year. Di Lorenzo, I mean, let's not even talk about what he was up to last year. You guys know. Um, even wanted to go to Juve. These are players that Conte had to convince that he put a veto on them to stay. And these are players that today stepped up. These are the players that decided to stick with Conte, stick with Napoli, stick with the project, and they fully bought into it. They're playing some of the best football in their lives. I think Di Lorenzo and Anguissa are having a better season this year than they were having 2 years ago, and yeah, it's the right point in time for them to step up, and they did. What a statement from these players, the senior players in the team, and guys, I think maybe this was the best Napoli of the season in terms of how well we've played. I think also against Fiorentina, we saw a really good Napoli in the way that we were playing. I think since December, really, those games against Udinese and all that. I think we turned the page. After Roma, we turned the page. It happens to also be roughly the same time that we lost Kvara. I'm not saying that those two things are correlated. Kvara, we know, is a great player. I'm not going to slander him. But it seems like, just from a psychological point of view, when Kvara is not on the field, everybody else, all other players know that they have to step up their level a bit more, that they cannot just rely on such a talented player, and all of them give that extra 10%. And if all these players give an extra 10%, it does actually make a significant difference. And yeah, I think that's what's happening, especially nowadays. Well, not nowadays, but now moving forward, that's definitely what needs to start happening. um Anguissa masterclass. I didn't know Anguissa had that in him, especially because of that huge miss in the first half. Paul says Napoli better without Kvara. Last two matches have been great team performances. Neres is becoming a great player. One thing about Neres that I think we can see, well, that I've noticed certainly, is that he's showing that he's older than Kvara. What do I mean by that? I think he's got more match matureness than Kvara. He knows when to pick his moments in terms of shooting versus dribbling versus crossing. I think Kvara has a higher talent than Neres, but especially over the last year and a half, we saw that there were some instances where he was forcing some things a bit too much, attempting the dribble when it just wasn't there. There's three guys ahead of you. Maybe it's better to pass the ball, or, maybe it's not the right moment to take a shot. Um, Whereas Neres, he has less of the ball, only demands it when he feels like he can actually really make a difference. And it's not that every time that he has it, he tries something. Sometimes he just plays it simple, just very simple, very, and he can go 20, 30 minutes without actually doing anything. But then when he finds that opportunity, he explodes to life, and it's always very, very interesting and dangerous for the opposition. So look, two great players, different players. I think Kvara has a higher ceiling than Neres. He's younger than Neres, but Neres has that maturity that I think is valuable. Able to really pick his moments. Lorento says, "Hey Dom, we can't see you." I know I wasn't ready with the camera, but I wanted to I wanted to go live anyways. I couldn't resist going 10 seconds early. Dom, when Kvara leaves, who do you think is our most realistic replacement? They're saying Garnacho. That's the name that's come out today, and honestly, that's the most realistic one that I've seen recently. Why? Because he's out of Amorin's plans, and those are kind of the only players that you can go out and get in the winter, are guys that are not playing for their club. So I mean, I know he played today for the FA Cup, but it is the FA Cup, right? So that is an interesting player. His salary, even though he's coming from a Premier League team, from Man United, it's not that high. It's just 2 million, and he is young. He's 20 years old, so that's perfect for Napoli, because guess what? That means if he has a good few seasons, you can still sell him in even before his prime, and boy, does Napoli love to sell some players. So it ticks all the boxes. It's gonna cost us 40, 50 million. Um, but we've got the money. We've got the money, and I think Napoli fans will not accept anything other than someone that's going to cost roughly that much. I mean, you cannot replace Kvara with someone that costs 20 million. People will say, hey, where did this money go? Where did Kvara's money go, right? You want to replace him with someone that costs at least 40 to justify that you at least gave it a good effort. Because otherwise, if you replace him with someone that's only 20 million and he doesn't work out, there's going to be a lot of criticism on De Laurentiis on why he wasn't backing or why he didn't back that position enough. What a performance has held combat, everybody. I really feel this is a special team and not relied upon a specific player as it was with Spalletti. We have a shot to get 9 out of 9 points in our next 3 games. Wow, the next 3 games, guys, are super difficult. Atalanta, Juventus, a semi-revitalized Roma. I don't know why people are saying that this Roma is revitalized. I heard the commentator say that. I mean, didn't Roma draw, today against Bologna? It's hardly a revitalized team. They're still 10th. Yes, they won the derby. Yes, they won against Parma 5-0, but they also have a loss against Como in December, a draw against Milan, who's not impressing in the Serie A despite their Supercoppa win. So it's a team that were able to win against a few teams here and there, but also have quite a few draws and even a loss over the last few weeks. So it's a semi-revitalized Roma. Definitely better than where they were with Juric. But yeah, guys, we I don't think 9 out of 9 points is there for us in terms of a realistic target. But I think we should definitely try to beat Roma. I think we could beat Juventus and then Atalanta. It's just super important not to lose. It's just super important not to lose the next one against Atalanta. We are mathematically now ahead of them by 2 points, even if they win their game in hand. And we just got to keep them. We got to keep them behind us. That's the most important thing. Obviously, guys, if we win, that's great. And maybe we should go out and win against Atalanta because they are not in their best moment. That's 2 draws in a row for Atalanta. One against Udinese, one against um, well, against Lazio in 2024 before the Supercoppa. They lost to Inter in the Supercoppa, so they haven't won 3 of their last games. Before they play us on Saturday, they actually have to play on Tuesday against Juventus. So they've got a series of games these days. Maybe they will end up being tired by the time they play us. So maybe it is a good chance, even if it's away from home, maybe it is a good chance for us to go and get the W against Atalanta and really start putting it behind us and turning this into more of a 2-horse race with Inter. Man, Inter always getting these 3 points. Today, Venezia gave them a bit of a scare. I mean, with 10 minutes to go, Venezia hit the inside of the post, and had that gone in, then we're looking at potentially Inter and Napoli exactly on the same points if they were to then go out and win their remaining games in hand, and that would have been juicy for the title race. And I'm sure they're not liking what they're seeing with Napoli, the fact that we're getting points, we're getting wins despite a few games now without Kvaratskhelia. Let's not forget that he was out also in December before. Looking like prime 2002 Brazil today with Neres on the left and back-to-back Juan Jesus clean sheets. I love this comment. I love this comment. Juan Jesus actually looks solid, man, this year. I mean, what is Conte cooking, man? Rachmani playing like Acerbi against City. Laurentio says, and sad Kvara won't even say goodbye to the fans. Guys, if you also think the way that he came off against Venezia last week. I was at the stadium in that Venezia game. Well, more than last week. It was, what was it, 2 weeks ago? The Venezia game. The way that he came off, basically, I forgot to mention it in the live after the match, but when he took that shot towards the end of the game, and it was before we scored, right before Raspadori's goal, and I can't remember if it hit one of the Verona players or it went above the goal. But Conte, he got so furious, guys, with Kvara. He basically turned to Politano and shook him, and he said, "Now you're coming on." That's what happened. That I saw that at the bottom of, at the touchline. He got so mad at Kvara. He started shouting, and he said to Politano, he shook Politano. He said, "Now you're coming on," and he threw Politano on and took Kvara off. Um, and Kvara didn't even come towards Conte to he didn't come towards Conte to be substituted. He went around the field, because I mean, yeah, Conte was furious with Kvara after that Venezia game, or during that Venezia game, before we got the goal finally with Raspadori. But that's the last moment of Kvara at the Maradona, guys, which is crazy to think for a player that did so much for Napoli. Spinazzola and Juan Jesus playing like prime Maldini and Nesta. Spinazzola is a funny guy, man. I mean, he had a good game, I think, overall. A lot of touches in the final third, but then he has these moments where it's like he forgets that the ball's in front of him, and you think, I mean, what's this? Like what is he up to? He just switches off sometimes. Napoli Nation TV says DPOY's Defensive Player of the Year. Right, so without Buongiorno. Fabian Varela, a member of the channel as well, says winning this easy without Buongiorno and Kvara is something to think about. Yeah, definitely. I think it's something that it's encouraging. I did not expect us to suffer so little without Buongiorno, to be honest. I'm amazed at the level of Juan Jesus, which is not I, but he looks like he's a football player. I mean, this is something that seemed like that wasn't the case last year. I want to give a shout out to Mike, member for 4 months of the channel. Says, "What's the root of Verona's bad fan reputation?" Just a little bit of racism. That's what it is. That's what it is, guys. It's unfortunately, Verona has some of the worst fans in the Serie A. Honestly, I think Napoli Nation TV can tell us more about that with first-hand experience. Maybe one day I'll interview him about it, because I remember that once he went to see an away game at Verona, and he was shocked at what he saw there. But yeah, guys, I mean, look, it's just that stereotypical thing from the north, from these little towns in the north. Look, Verona is a beautiful town. I went there last year. I think it's absolutely beautiful as a town, but yeah, the people there, they just have such a small town mentality, and basically anything south of Rome for them, they're they treat it really badly, really poorly. Look, it's just a cultural dynamic that we have in Italy, unfortunately, in some of these places, and you'll find the same with Atalanta in Bergamo. Not everyone's like that, obviously, from these places. I'm not saying that, but there is a part of the fan base, the ultras that are a bit uncultured, guys. Paul says Rashford would be a big gamble. He would want big wages, and he hasn't played well the last couple of seasons. Yeah, Rashford. Look, he had that one season where he scored like 30 goals with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, but other than that, not much, right? And look, to be honest, Garnacho as well, he hasn't really shown that he's at the level of Kvara or even Neres, right? He would come and he would have to prove himself against the guy like Neres, you know. But he's got age on his side. He's 20, Garnacho, whereas Rashford, what is he? 27 now. And it just feels like one big wasted career with Rashford. And maybe Conte is able to get the best out of both of those kind of players, but I would personally prefer someone who's 20 than someone who's 27. I think it's just easier to change someone, make them mature. If you're 27 and you're still wasting your chance at being, the best you can be, when your career, it finishes when you're 35, right? Um, then something's not right. Something's not right with you. So yeah, I would prefer Garnacho, honestly. I want to give a shout out to Cam, another member of the channel. Thanks for the super chat, man, for the extra support. I really appreciate it, guys. It says, Dom, why do Premier League players transition well when they come to Serie A? They have, I think, a different kind of speed in the Premier League with especially midfielders, right? When they come to the Serie A, they are at a different level in terms of winning second balls, in terms of being dynamic, box to box running, all these kind of things, which is why McTominay and Anguissa are so dominant for us against some teams because when they're on their day, they bring that level that they learned in the Premier League. And Conte, to some extent, with his experience of having coached in the Premier League, he's able to bring that to Napoli's team in general, and we're a different team compared to last year, just from a physical point of view. So that's what they can bring. They are also used to the intense atmospheres that you find in the Premier League. I mean, with the fans being so close to the field, that's a huge factor. That they're used to hearing the fans right on them, the insults, the everything, and then you come to Italy and the fans are further away. It's almost like you're immune to whatever they say. Like I think Premier League players, what I noticed is that they play really well away from home in the Serie A because they're just so used to going. I think in England, playing away and hearing so much abuse right next to their ear that when they finally then come to the Serie A and they're like 20 meters away from the abuse because we've got the running rings around our stadium, they're just like, oh, this is easy. I can handle this pressure now. So all these factors I think play a role. Um, and and yeah, look, the Premier League is just a top league. Bottom line, I think in Italy you learn how to control a game much better. The Premier League, it's a bit raw under that aspect. It's just back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And apart from Guardiola, when he wasn't in that rough patch. Apart from Guardiola, not many teams, and Arsenal, not many teams are actually trying to tactically control the game. Um, so they come here to Italy, they learn about that, they'd have to adapt to that. But from a physical point of view, from a mental point of view, they're at a top level. So that's my answer to that. Such good vibes compared to last year. I'm happy it's like this. Yeah. And look, I think, Kvara, this whole thing, it's really sad. It's really, a shame. But at the end of the day, guys, we're first in the table, also thanks to him, but we're first. And we've got this huge objective that we're so focused on. It's right in front of us. We're in pole position alongside Inter, and we can't get distracted by it. Last year it was very easy to speak weeks and weeks and weeks and videos and videos and videos on Kvara and Osimhen and this and that and Zielinski. Now, look, apart from the Kvara situation, no one is. Mm, there's no scandals. There's no one complaining. Yeah, Raspadori would like a few more minutes, but even him, he's understanding that. Okay, let me just maybe stay here at least the next 6 months, and let's see if I can put another Scudetto in my CV. I will have my opportunities. There will be moments, and he had that, for example, against Venezia 2 weeks ago. Everybody can have these highs um, when you're playing for the Scudetto, guys. I mean, any one of these guys could score the Scudetto winning goal. It could even be Spinazzola for all we know in the future. So nobody wants to miss on that opportunity. It comes once in a lifetime. So that's that's why I think this year that the environment has been just a lot more chill. Even the whole Kvara thing, like it wasn't a huge telenovela, where the agent said this and Kvara did this. Like, remember last year with Osimhen, it was that he was saying something on social media, deleting photos, Napoli, the TikTok, the agents were saying something. Osimhen even complained about Kvara's agent and said, "Get that guy. That guy's should never say my name." Like there was drama everywhere. Mario Rui's agents. Remember the mess of last year? This year, guys, I mean, Kvara is going to PSG, and we haven't heard anything from Kvara. He hasn't done anything stupid on social media. We haven't heard anything from his agent. Everything's just been handled behind closed doors. And credit to Manna and De Laurentiis for keeping that, under wraps. Um, and and yeah, I think the environment is just a lot better, and if players want to leave, for example, for Oluncho and Caprile, fine. You want to leave, you go ahead and go. Don't break the atmosphere by, getting your agent involved and doing things on social media. Just pick up your bags, find the club, give me the money, and you can go, you know? And that's been the story this year. It's been handled much more professionally than what it was last year. And so that really helps the environment around the team, around the club. And I think these players are all contributing. Even someone like Juan Jesus, who it seemed like might not get a lot of minutes this year with Rachmani and Buongiorno. Look, he's been playing the last month. He's going if one day we lift the Scudetto trophy, he's going to be a fundamental part of that. He's contributed to a few clean sheets now. Um, so yeah, even more so than when we won it the first year, and he was part of that squad. But I think the way that we're still in a title race with him having played now 4 games, I feel. Yeah, huge credit to Juan Jesus. Really, really happy with his performances and how he stepped up. Guys like Meret, like I'm super pleased with everybody in the team. Mike, man, thank you for an extra $2 donation. What's the state of Napoli's academy? Not great. In terms of talent that has to come through, I'm looking forward to Vergara, who is playing in Serie B, I think for Provercelli. So if you type Vergara on Google, you will get Sofia Vergara, which is not what I'm after today. Antonio Vergara. So he's playing from Frattaminore, near Campania, 1 meter 82, so about 6 foot tall. Plays for Provercelli. No, Provercelli is in they're in Serie C. So that's a bit of a shame that he's in Serie C. I feel like he's a quality player and should be much higher up. I think he should be already near the Serie A. Um, but yeah, that's I think the one guy that I can see maybe breaking through. Another one could be um, not D'Ambrosio, but the other striker that was also in the under 20 national team. Maybe it's D'Ambrosio or Ambrosino, maybe. Ambrosino, could it be? Ambrosino, yes, Giuseppe Ambrosino. Uh, so yeah, he's playing for Frosinone. Look, he's playing 20 matches, but only 3 goals, right? 21 years old. I feel like now he's a bit old to really break through. I think, yeah, he's going to be that classic kind of striker that I think will make it to Serie A, but it's not going to be an incredible career, which is a shame because he did really well at a youth level. But yeah, we don't have a lot going on, to be honest, in our youth academy. But we signed Hassa recently that will go and play with our B team, and let's see if he can impress Conte enough to get a few minutes. But look, he didn't play with Lecce, so I don't know if he will play with Napoli, but he is someone that Manna knows very well, comes from the Juve next gen project. Let's see. Let's see what happens. Verona fans are very bad, but like Dom alluded, it's really a North versus South thing more than anything, which is the root cause of the issue. I identify as old Roman because I listen to too much Joe Rogan, says Paul. Payman Dadgar, welcome to the live, says, I'm going to the Juve game. Very pumped. We really have picked up. Kvara is my favorite player, but not suited Conte's system. But why Garnacho? I prefer a right winger. Politano adds nothing. Yeah, look, I mean, that's a very valid point because you could say we have Neres on the left. Let's just let's just focus on improving the right side, and that's a very valid point. And I think we need to do both. I think we cannot stay with the current wingers that we have because I think that Engonge is also not really someone that Conte enjoys to have on the field. And so we have to tackle both sides. We have to get someone else on the right because look, Engonge will probably leave Napoli as well. Not now, but in the summer. So we might as well go and get someone who then can also be not just a Engonge replacement, but a step up from Politano. So I fully agree with that. Fully agree. But look, the Garnacho one, man, it's just from a profile point of view. Like I said, he's 20 years old, already big club experience. He's got a lot of important moments in his career already at such a young age. This is the classic type of player that I think De Laurentiis is like, yep, I'm gonna get this guy. We're gonna hype him up for 2 years, and then we're gonna sell him on. And that's something that he's eyeing up. I'm pretty sure because look, I don't see other young guys out there that can guarantee you a certain level of performance at the moment. Everybody else would be a bit of a gamble. It could work out, but I mean, if you've got a guy who's played at Man United before and performed in big games like Garnacho has, because he has performed in big games already, then it's someone that you think about. Tyson, man, welcome to Club Azzurro. Thank you for joining Club Azzurro. Guys, speaking about the different tiers of the clubs, so with the whole shorts thing, I'm gonna make a lot of shorts this month with the transfer market. I want to make some on the players that honestly we've not been able to speak much about, such as Scuffet, such as Billing. So we're gonna make some shorts there. But I was even thinking about doing a full-on video for Scuffet. It's just that, man, this the past few weeks I've been at work on a project, and I've been doing a lot of hours. I worked during Christmas, uh, so yeah, not a huge amount of time to make content for you guys, even if it's just a small short. I'm literally just waking up, work, sleep, literally. So hopefully that ends. Well, it should end soon. So then I can get back to, maybe making a few more videos for you guys, unless they give me something else to do, which I'm sure they will. But yeah, that's the hope, at least, to make some more shorts. Um, Garnacho's a drama queen, says Danny Formello, and will only look after himself. It's true. He's got a big personality. He thinks he's the new Ronaldo. He's an interesting character, but I feel like he under Conte can mature a lot. I think if there's one coach that can make this guy think in the right direction, it's Conte, because I think he's got the minerals to succeed. And if Conte can get into his head, then I think we're looking at a very good player. But I do agree that's the one part about him that I don't like. It's a little bit his personality, his drama queen. But on the other hand, look, he's gonna come to a club like Napoli. He's in theory gonna be Kvara's replacement if this goes ahead. And you need personality. You need personality here, because what we don't want is another Lindstrom. Lindstrom, I think he's a good player, but not only was he a bit weak physically, but I just think that he didn't have personality and he didn't fit into the culture of the club. Garnacho, man, Garnacho fits in to Napoli like a glove. Dude, I could put this guy in the Quartieri Spagnoli and within 2 days he's the leader. You know what I mean? Like, this guy is fit for purpose, Like, if there's one player that looks like a Scugnizzo, which is what we call like young kids in Naples, the classic like street kid. It's Garnacho, I think he can really, really fit into Napoli. He's Argentinian. Argentinians in Naples have got this feeling between them. I can see that working. I can see it working. But yeah, it's obviously something that needs to be balanced. Needs to be thought of carefully. Maximus, man, welcome to Club Azzurro as well. I'm happy you guys are joining, are becoming members of the channel. I really appreciate you guys for doing that. And yeah, I mean, I appreciate all of you guys, even if it's just leaving a like, because it really helps grow the channel. And if you're a member, it really helps with things like, for example, paying for I don't know, whenever I might need to replace equipment, or Adobe, for example, like my Photoshop. That's a monthly thing that needs to be covered. So thank you, guys. Tyson says, sorry for bringing it back to Garnacho. I mean, it's fine. We were just talking about him, but he really excites me. considering he reminds me of that Lavezzi-esque flair and fun arrogance. Always a supporter of an Argentinian on the Napoli wing. Exactly, man. Like, we can bring back the Lavezzi vibes. I think Garnacho is someone that we can get the best out of him. I think so. I think so. I'd be excited for him. I don't think he's someone that automatically comes in and makes a difference like Kvara did, because I think Conte will slowly ease him in because we have Neres, and he has to also find his way into the league and all that. It's not easy midway through the season. I think if it was during the summer, it could have been different. He could have maybe started from the start. But in the winter, I think Conte will slowly introduce whoever he buys slowly. But I just see potential there. So I mean, it would be exciting. It would be, um, yeah. I'm all in favor of that. And he's right footed. So many names that we've been linked with in the past have been left footed. We need a right footed guy to replace Kvara, guys. I mean, we have so many left footers, wingers on the team. Aaron, man, welcome to the membership club. Thank you, guys. There's a lot of new members today. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Napoli Nation TV, member for 4 months of Club Vesuvio, says, man, you are getting me more excited about Garnacho if he brings that Lavezzi flair. Yeah, look, I don't think he's got the flair of Lavezzi, but he's got that cazzimma, man. That's the thing I like about Garnacho. He's got cazzimma. Even the fact that he's breaking his relationships with Man United, man, this guy, like, he doesn't he doesn't think straight. I mean, think about it. You're 20 years old, you play for Man United, and for whatever reason, you are, breaking that report. You must be pretty stupid. But that's the kind of stupid that I think we need, you know? Um, just someone that, I don't know. I just, there's something about Garnacho. There's something there that I feel like it's a project that Conte can work on. I don't know how to explain it, but there's just something there that I think is gonna spark Napoli to life. That Katsima with a bit of arrogance, with a bit of stupidity, like, I mean, Lavezzi had a bit of that as well, when for example Lavezzi kicked the ball against Cagliari to Allegri, who was the coach of Cagliari, I mean, and got a red card. That was stupid. That was really stupid. But that's the thing that fans love, and it's not about getting rid of that, it's about channeling that. Um, I can't believe I'm saying that's one of the traits that I want from a player, but it's exciting. I like exciting players. What I don't want is a player that is shy, that is scared, that is, I don't want another Lindstrom. I want someone that has personality. That's what you need. Lewis, see, thank you. Another longtime fan of the channel. Thank you for that $2 donation, man. Thank you, thank you, thank you for supporting the channel. Thanks for the stream. I know you put a lot of work into them. Thanks, man. What do you really think about Kvara versus Neres, says Irakli? I think Kvara is more talented. I think Neres is more mature. Also, emotionally, we spoke about earlier the maturity and picking the right moments to cross versus shoot versus pass. But I think if there's one thing that I hoped Kvara would have matured more on is the emotional aspect, because unfortunately Kvara was getting fouled a lot, and I don't know why referees were not giving him the free kicks. But remember last year, like how sometimes he responded um, to those provocations, and sometimes it seems like it affects his game. Like when he, for example, takes a shot and it doesn't work out, then he tries super hard to score the next one, but then it seems like he's trying too hard. I just think Kvara needs to relax a little bit. I don't know if the whole contract situation was on his mind when this was happening, and that was not letting him relax. Maybe he goes to PSG and he's a new contract. It's confirmed. He knows where he's going to be for the next 5 years. He's going to be relaxed and everything. But I just feel like maybe that was something that he needed to improve on a little bit. Neres is older. He's has more experiences, has played in more clubs. You can tell that he brings more maturity, more calmness. I mean, that dude looks calm, if you know what I mean. Yeah, so I think he brings that. I think Kvara has got a higher ceiling. Kvara, I think, can change more games. He's, I think, more special than Neres, but I think Neres has the ability to just be maybe less up and down, you know? I think Kvara there was a bit of up and down, but I think that's just something about him being younger and the whole contract thing. Maybe. But look, probably Kvara in 2 years he could probably win the Ballon d'Or. That's how highly I rate Kvara, especially if he wins the Champions League with PSG. I mean, if he delivers a Champions League to PSG, why not Kvara for the Ballon d'Or, right? He's got the opportunity to do that. I don't think he's at that level yet. Um, but yeah, Neres is fine for now for us. We have to make it be fine, right? We don't really have another choice at the moment. Um, but look, if you were to ask me, do you prefer more Kvara today or Neres today? With the way that Kvara was playing, I prefer Neres. But if you tell me, do you prefer Kvara of the first 6 months in Napoli or Neres today? I would take the Kvara of the first 6 months. But for me, Kvara of the first 6 months is the best player I've ever seen in my life. So I would choose 2022 Kvara any day. But 2024 Kvara or late 2023 Kvara, a bit up and down, a bit up and down. Maximus says, I hope they do go after Kevin Zenon from Boca's 23, plays midfield and defense. Wouldn't hurt. Would be an interesting one, that one. And also, young 23, why not? We are suckers for Argentines, and Boca. What a club! What a club! I'm just thinking of pics of Lavezzi and Zuniga with all those women, like 2012 now. Yeah, exactly. That's the kind of thing Garnacho would do. He'd bring back the days when football players were not media trained. We need, we need that back. Okay, we need those kind of moments back. Um, I want Cherki from Lyon. Man, that guy is so good. If we can get this guy, oof, this guy's technique is unreal. What an idea from Lorenzo Moore. I don't know if you guys have seen videos of of him, but he is a baller. And by the way, he has an Italian passport, so that's also very very good because some of these other players are that we've been linked to. Not all of them have a European passport. Tyson says we need Casadei. Yeah, I would have preferred Casadei over Bill. I'm a huge Casadei fan, man. I think Casadei is such a good player. I fell in love with Casadei watching the Italy under 20 World Cup 2 years ago. Wow. Wow. I think this guy has such a high ceiling. He's been unlucky a little bit with injuries, even at such a young age, and he's been unlucky that his courage has not been rewarded. Because had he stayed in Italy, maybe he would have now been in Inter's team, because he was in the Inter Youth Academy. He would have maybe gotten minutes under Inter. He would have been in the circle of of Inzaghi's rotations, and it would have been a different type of career. He had the ambition to go and challenge himself in the Premier League, and you have to adapt to a new league. It's not easy. He got injured. Um, yeah, look, he took a risk leaving so early his main league, his mother league. But let's see. Maybe he finds a way to come back to the Serie A, hopefully with Napoli, because this guy is crazy. This guy Casadei is crazy good, man, crazy good. Um, but yeah, guys, I'm going to. Kvara showed signs of quite quitting all season under Conte, anyways. Love, yeah, good old corporate quiet quitting. Um, yeah, guys, and I'm going to get a few more comments. Andrea says the whole contract situation is his fault, though. Napoli have offered him 6 million renewal months ago, and he's refused multiple times. Look, like I said, it's both situations, right? I think Napoli should have offered a new contract, even 4 million during the Scudetto season. It was clear that Kvara was a special player. Just reward him. Just reward him. Show him that you care, and he will then turn into a more grateful player for you. But if you don't do that, then you open the door for other clubs and agents and people in his entourage to say, look, that Napoli doesn't treat you well. Look, that Napoli doesn't know your value. And even then, when you do offer a contract, now it's too late. Now it's seen as just something as a reaction rather than something that you really wanted to do. That you're just reacting because you know that someone else has offered something. So I think there's definitely a fault from Napoli. They could have done something a lot sooner. Uh, but Kvara to leave now, not great. But we spoke about it yesterday. Let me go into, guys, some of the analysis of the game, guys. Let's focus a bit more on this Napoli Verona. It's always nice to win against Verona, especially since they have caused us quite a bit of pain last few years, honestly. So, guys, this is a great goal. Look how far ahead Di Lorenzo is. Very good layoff to Lukaku. By the way, this will not count as a Di Lorenzo goal. It will be an own goal, and as a result, it will not count as a Lukaku assist. But if we really think about it, Lukaku today, like in practice, 2 assists, doing what he does best, which is just receiving the ball and laying it off for people. And he creates so much space for the team to tap into, and Di Lorenzo scores, hits the post, goes on the back of the goalkeeper, goal. But what a goal by Di Lorenzo. Reminds me of the one he scored against Eintracht Frankfurt in the Champions League. And he's got that in him with his left foot, Di Lorenzo. Now it's 2 goals like that. That one was on the ground. This one was higher up. But yeah. And then, guys, we missed a lot of chances. Anguissa here. Now, the funny thing is that this is with his left foot. So he scores an hour later a goal that is absolutely insane with his left foot. And you're telling me that from here, with that same foot, he's not able to tap this in? It doesn't make any sense. I was sure when I saw this, I was like, well, Anguissa, it's his left foot, of course. But then an hour later, he scores that goal, and I'm like, hold up. So he does have a left foot. So what is it? um, I get it though. It's completely different techniques to go from this to that. Um, yeah, you could strike. You could be a very good striker of the ball from far away, hit it with power. But when the ball is coming at you and it's a little bit behind you, you might not have the technique and the balance to pull this off, right? Because you need to make sure that you're not leaning backwards when you take these shots. And look, Napoli were having a lot of opportunities in that first half, and that's something that I enjoyed about Napoli in the first half, is that we kept pushing, we were creative with the chances that we had. This is something that I was hoping to see more over the last few weeks. I mentioned it after the game of Venezia, after the game of Fiorentina, that once Napoli scored a goal, it seemed like we would then stop pushing. But here it was clear, maybe because the goal came so early, that we kept on pushing, and that was really good. And what's interesting here, guys, is how the whole team just knows what's happening. For example, here in this Lukaku shot, look at how everybody is kind of blocking Verona players, leaving the gap for Lukaku to take the shot, making sure that he's not being pressed. Everybody's doing their job. Everybody's holding on to a Verona player. Everybody's switched on and knows exactly what needs to happen. This is a sign of a team that's being trained well, that everybody knows what their role is, from normal passages of play to set pieces. This is a very, very well trained team, and credit to Conte for that. But yeah, look, the misses kept coming with McTominay here. Again, he scored so many more difficult goals than that, but it seemed like the classic game where you have 20 shots that you miss, and then you're gonna get penalized at the end for it. And we were close to a few blunders with Meret in the first half, but luckily nothing happened there. But guys, what's interesting about how Napoli played today is Di Lorenzo's position. Not just getting forward like he normally does on the right side, but he was playing essentially as a number 10 for us. I mean, he is in between Lobotka and Anguissa. Napoli essentially playing a 2-5-3 with Scott McTominay alongside Lukaku, um, and Di Lorenzo pushing up, but not next to Politano, but in between Lobotka and Anguissa, and that allows him to dictate the play a bit more, and Anguissa to get into the box and get at the end of crosses, and get at the edge of the box, and get headers in and all that kind of stuff. And Conte is slowly bringing in more and more and more diversity and variations to his play. And I think what this does is it allows as well Lukaku a lot of different options when he receives the ball. Because, for example, if Lukaku receives the ball here, and he's back to the goal facing his midfielders, he has a lot of options. He can play it to McTominay on his right. He can play it to Lobotka. He can play it to Di Lorenzo, to Anguissa, because having that extra player there with Di Lorenzo, it just gives him an extra option, and we took full advantage of that for the goal that we scored in the first half. And then with Anguissa in the second, but also the way that we are positioned with the five midfielders here. Everybody is everyone, as you go more and more towards the right, everybody is two steps closer towards the goal. We're really pushing Verona, and it's nice to see that everybody's trying to be a foot forward. Because sometimes you see teams that are very flat, and the ball can only go sideways. Here, at least, if you pass it from one side to the other, you're gaining a few meters every time. So that's really good. And look here, another situation, right? Here, instead of a ball being played to Lukaku back to goal, it's Scott McTominay who had that sort of presence, and that's why he's so important for us, because he's big and strong. But look, Rachmani plays the ball to McTominay. Who's there in the center? Now it's Spinazzola's turn from the other wing. And look at Di Lorenzo now in the space that Lukaku has left. Lukaku was where Di Lorenzo was. He's moved out of there, leaves the space for Di Lorenzo. The ball comes to Di Lorenzo, and here Di Lorenzo needs to take a shot. He's way too altruistic trying to find Lukaku. But Yeah, look, great passage of play from Napoli. I really enjoyed watching them today. Very, very good football. More of this, please, from Conte. And dangers from set pieces. Here it could have been a goal by Rachmani had it not been saved off the line by Verona. And then Anguissa as well, with his goal. Incredible. Here, look at Lukaku shielding the ball, playing that 1-2, Anguissa with a bit of skill, and boom. And look at the role that someone like McTominay plays here, because defenders can't get close to Anguissa, because if they get close to Anguissa, they leave McTominay unmarked. So Anguissa's got all the time in the world to take this shot. It's on his weaker foot, but he's got the time and space to do it, to get ready for this shot. And it's so important for the way that we play, to have guys like Lukaku and McTominay hold off those defenders, because it gives our midfielders that time and space on the ball, and they need to take advantage of it. We need to shoot more. That's something that we've been missing ever since Fabian Ruiz left. No one's been taking shots from outside the box, man. So yeah, great shot from Zambo. And look, we had a few moments at the back. Meret, who's been amazing this year, let this ball slip, and then Politano half cleared it, and there was a mess, and they managed to handle it. There was this long ball from Verona, which was a bit scary, with Juan Jesus, Rachmani, and Meret almost creating a disaster at the back. Meret a little bit too happy to go forward maybe today, a bit Neuer-esque. But ultimately, then when it finally came to him having to make saves, he was there and ready, and kept a clean sheet. Um, but look, man of the match, Di Lorenzo. Look at this, guys. Passes in final third, Di Lorenzo 34. This is, by the way, with 15 minutes still to go in the game. Way ahead of everybody else. And then, most distance covered, Lobotka first, fine. But look who's second, Di Lorenzo. So, Di Lorenzo, most distance covered and most passes in final third. So amazing from Di Lorenzo, and that's why he gets an 8 out of 10 in my books. Same as Anguissa, because I mean that shot from Anguissa is incredible. And everybody else had a good game. Meret, a bit shaky maybe at the back, gets a 6 for me, and Politano, not his best game. There wasn't any need for him to go back and do the defending, which he's always you know um, that Conte always says is important. Against a team like Verona, it's not so important to do it. And going forward, he doesn't offer much. So 6 for him, and that's where Payman was saying that we need maybe a right winger more than a left winger, because maybe if we can upgrade that position, that would be great. And then the subs, yeah, they had a bit of an impact. For example, that shot from Ngonje, but really the game was over. 2-0 against Verona at home. It's over. There's no point in giving these guys a rating. But yeah, good stuff from the boys, and good stuff from Conte. He gets an 8 out of 10 because he kept these guys concentrated in a week where it would have been very, very easy to be unconcentrated. And I also want to give a shout out to Neres, who, I think it would have been very easy for a player today to feel like, this is my chance now to show the world that I can replace Kvara. Let me do a bunch of fancy things. And Neres, like I said, very mature player. He picked his moments on when he needed to dribble, but didn't try too hard. Like he didn't even have a shot today, you know? He basically dribbled, crossed the ball, did what he needed to do. He didn't think, today's my day to be on the score sheet because I need to show Conte and Napoli fans that I'm the new Kvara. It's like, no, just I'm here to do my job. I need to think that this is a game like any other. I need to play like it's any other game. I don't need to do what I did against Fiorentina again. I don't need to repeat that every single game. Um, if it happens that the situation is right, that there's a path for me where I can go through the defenders, fine, you know? But otherwise, I don't need to force things. And that's what I really like about Neres. It's that maturity um, that maybe a younger player wouldn't have had. A younger player would have seen this as an opportunity to try to outdo himself, to prove something to Conte. But this is exactly what Conte wanted to see. So good stuff, good stuff. Napoli 41482 says, how likely will Napoli land Garnacho? I think there's a 50% chance, which is pretty high. Um, because look, this dude, I think, will want to play. And in Manu, I don't think he's going to get that with Amorin. And Amorin's not going anywhere. They just got him. And look, I think a club like Napoli for him is great. He's so young. He doesn't need to go to Barcelona or Real Madrid now. He can wait 3, 4 years before doing that. Now it's a chance for him to go to Napoli as an Argentinian, make your mark there, enjoy it, experience that which Argentinians love to experience, and and enjoy learning from a coach like Conte in a league like the Serie A. It makes sense for him. If he thinks this through, then he'll push for this. Um, will the financial rules in England dictate the transfers more than the players the coach want? I'm not sure what you mean by that, Paul. What do you mean by the financial rules in England? Napoli Nation TV, man, thank you for the 4.99. Very generous of you. Do you think Napoli will take care of Zambo and Lobo with a respectable contract extension to keep them through to their prime? So I think Lobo has already signed an extension last year, if I'm not mistaken, or in the towards the end of the Scudetto winning season. So I think we're covered with Lobo. And with Zambo, Napoli have a unilateral option to extend his contract for, I think, another 2 years this season, because actually he's out of contract soon. But for sure, Napoli is going to extend Zambo, and it's unilateral. They don't even need his approval. They just need to say that they want to extend him, and his contract is extended. Although that's what it was with Spalletti as well, and Spalletti did not take that very well when Napoli decided his fate and his future on his behalf. And we all know then that Spalletti then resigned. I don't think Zambo would do that. I think he loves Napoli. When he scored today, he showed again the name of Daniele, the little boy that passed away from the hospital in Naples, that became a mascot for the team in recent weeks, gave them a lot of strength. Um, he's someone that has really, I think, embedded himself into the city. Maybe it's not so public like it was with Mertens and stuff like that, but I feel like he really, really loves the people in the city, Zambo. And look, I mean, this is a player that before Napoli was at Fulham. His prospect was going down to the championship. He played in Spain and it didn't really work out for him. Like Napoli was his saving grace. So I think he's eternally grateful for Napoli, and more players should feel that way because Napoli takes gambles on players. That's something that I think is not respected enough. Napoli rarely goes for players that are already in their prime or already known. They always go for players that need to still prove themselves, that maybe people stopped believing in them, like Neres. People stopped believing in Neres. Everybody thought he was a baller at Ajax. and then Benfica stopped believing in him, and Napoli, gave him a platform once again. Um, and they take a risk on these players, no, and they support these players, and there needs to be a bit more gratitude, I think, towards the club from these players, um, because it's so easy for them to instead go and have a career that is just not that important, you know. And many players did not join Napoli. They were close to joining Napoli. They did not join Napoli, and go look at where their careers are now. Go look at them. For example, I'll give an example. Gonalon. Those that support Napoli for more than 10 years will know that name from Lyon. Okay? We wanted him so badly. We wanted him so badly in our midfield 8, 7 years ago. That dude, what happened to his career? He did nothing. Nothing. You know? So there's a lot of players that instead did take the option to come to Napoli and it transformed their life. Like Kvara. Uh, like Osimhen. Look, Osimhen could have been in League One. Um, maybe he would have been a star, but maybe not, But we gave him the option to come to Napoli and do well. This is a great example, Aaron. And Nicolas Pepe, the other guy that from Lille, who was maybe better than Osimhen at Lille, had a better prospect than Osimhen, refused to go to Napoli, went to Arsenal instead. Look what happened. He's already retired. He's not even 30. He already retired. And we wanted him for 70 million. He didn't come. Fine, fair. Do your thing. Do your choices. But Napoli takes a lot of gambles on players and gives them a platform to succeed. They're coached by some of the best coaches. Guys, you don't maybe realize, but the top 10 coaches in Europe, 3 or 4 of them passed by Napoli in the last 10 years. Sarri, Ancelotti, Conte. You could put Benitez in there because Benitez is a good coach. Maybe not top 10, but he was top 10 in his days in the early 2000s. All these guys were coached by top coaches. Our our guys in the backroom staff are some of the best nutritional doctors, the best rehabilitation doctors, the best. The people in the staff, top, top. So, what does this mean? This means why do they care if you have the best medical staff? Well, less injuries means an extended career, means more money, means more opportunities to prove your worth, less pain. I mean, it's not something to ignore, and we give them a platform, and sometimes they're not grateful about it. Apart from the fact that the fans, I mean, they put your name in the walls and they make statues of you, murals. Apart from that, which I think, I mean, when you're a kid, that's what you want, when you want to be a footballer, when you're 9 years old and you want to be a footballer, are you doing it for the money? No. You're doing it because you want 60,000, 80,000 people shouting your name after you score a goal, and you want to have your face everywhere. That's why you want to be a footballer. You don't want to do it because you want to earn 9 million euros instead of 6. Man, when you're a kid, you don't even know what that means, Um, so yeah, sometimes they forget that very easily. Payments as Rachmani was very good, much better than Jesus, at least 7. I gave him 6.5 because I look at the the opposition, and I'm like, yeah, I mean, maybe Rachmani was a bit better than Jesus, but there's not much in it, right? When you're up against Verona, I could be a bit more, you know, differentiating between the two. But look, I think Jesus did very well as well. You know, he didn't put a foot wrong today. Mike, man, thank you for the $5 donation. Says, why do you think there has been a mass exodus from Lyon? Maybe League One in general, more clubs will probably go under. What do you think? Yeah, Lyon, look, they went under, right? They went under, or they're going under with the new owners. And that's what scares me, man, about new owners. You know, some people complain about De Laurentiis. At least our club is never at risk of going down. Even Inter, man, with the whole like Zhang and Oak Tree thing that happened last summer. I mean, they were very close to, I mean, not finding an agreement on who was going to take care of the club, which would have been horrible. Um, yeah, so what happened at Lyon is just bad ownership, and they never adapted to PSG coming in. I mean, look, Lyon won 7 Ligue 1s in a row, and then PSG came in with the new owners, changed the dynamics of the league, and they never recovered. Guys, it's getting very late. I have work tomorrow. I just want to get through Conte's press conference. Thank you guys for all your comments. Luigi says, dude, you speak so much. I absolutely rate you, man. Says Luigi. Thank you, bro. Thank you, bro. Um, I, yeah, thank you. I want to get to Conte's conference, man. I want to see what he says. By the way, Juan Jesus completed 111 passes today. 111. So he had a very good game, Juan Jesus. That's the sort of numbers that Jorginho was doing back in the day. Let's see Conte, what he had to say. I'm very interested in that. So let's look at his press conference. If my website works, okay, there we go. They ask him, what kind of a signal was it after such a particular week? And he says, Um, look, we've been very good not to have injuries today because the squad is very thin. Buongiorno, for example, is out. But we've had players that had to step in, like Spinazzola and Juan Jesus. And I remember that there was a lot of mistrust in these players, but we have to give credit to them because they've been very, very reliable. Spinazzola has been doing great work, important um, performances, and so it's a testimony that the group it's a cohesive group, it's a solid group that's working very hard, and the team is growing, and that gives me a lot of satisfaction. They ask him if this game can help build the new Napoli without Kvara, and he says absolutely. In the summer, we started a project that we need to continue. We don't have to think. I don't want Napoli to be a stepping stone for anyone. We have to work to be competitive every year. And we have to think that this is just the start. Um, we're on the right path. This is not something easy. You guys think it's easy, but it's not. It's fine to dream about the Scudetto, but it's not easy. We have to work very hard. We've just started our path, and we need to have patience. But it's good to know that we can count on everybody in this team. And right now we are very high in the league. We're gonna try to stay there as much as possible. We've deserved to be there, and we just need to keep, giving the other teams up there something to worry about, and then we'll see what happens. But um, for now, yeah, we just have to keep doing what we're doing, and and the team showed a lot of maturity today, and so I'm very happy. So that's Conte, guys. That's his press conference. He didn't really specify anything about Kvara or all that too much. So maybe not the most important post-match conference. Um, but yeah, Rachmani also had something to say. So Rachmani said it was difficult to get used to Conte at the start of the season and his training methods, but now we feel very good from a physical point of view, and we are a solid team. So that's Rachmani. I remember one of his earlier press conferences in the year saying that he was suffering from contest trainings. Yeah, finally someone that actually gives them something to do from Monday to Friday, gives them something serious to work on. Paul says top English teams need to sell before they can buy, so swaps are most likely. So Garnacho may be part of an Osimhen deal. Um, I don't think it's just a thing about English teams. I think that's just in general, right? Um, you need to make space in your team. You can't keep hoarding players. I mean, Chelsea does that, right? Uh, you can, but then you just have them sit on the sidelines. I think Manu have to sell because of some financial fair play type of things, which is also why they sold Scott McTominay, and that's why it's an opportunity. But I also do see how it could be in a greater Osimhen deal, with Garnacho coming in and Osimhen going to Man United. Maybe not now in January, but they could sort of pre-buy him for the summer, because I mean Galatasaray will not want to lose him in January. I'm not sure how much Galatasaray has a say in all of this, but maybe they do. Maybe they need to give their blessings, or maybe they can pay an extra fee, like another 5 million to keep him. Uh, yeah, I don't know how it works, the whole loan deal, if another club wants to actually go out and buy a player who's currently on loan. It's a very rare thing to happen, right? That a player who's on loan gets sold in the middle of the loan. Can't remember of another time when that's happened. I'm sure it's possible. I just can't remember it. Right. Anyone know how much Oliveira's out? I think another week. I think we should start to see him back next week. It was not that serious, that whole thing. Right. Man City could be relegated this year because of financial fair play and have their title stripped. It's a top concern for the top English clubs. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Let's see what happens with Man City. Maybe a lot of talented players will go on the market. I think I think it would be very difficult for Napoli to go and get any Man City player, but you never know. You never know. They say Kyle Walker might go to AC Milan, for example. Let's see. Guys, thank you for uh well, for the live, for staying on for an hour and a half with me, almost an hour and a half. Thank you for the 3 4 people that became new members of the channel. I appreciate you guys so much. I appreciate anybody else that becomes a member, or anybody else that just comments on the chat, on the video, smashes that like button. I appreciate all of you guys, and you know good to see people still follow even if Kvara's not there. So that's good news, good news today. We got the win. That's the most important thing, though. Guys, that is everything from me. Hope you guys enjoyed the live, and see you guys next time. As always, Forza Napoli sempre. Ciao.